Welcome to the Ringside Podcast. We are live. We have a full episode of in-depth analysis. And now, let's go up to ringside with the owner of WorldWrestlingNews.com and your host, Michael Burgess.
Welcome to the Ringside Podcast. What a show we have in store. We have top news stories coming up your way. We have results for this week's WWE Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown. We have some important announcements we're going to share with you live here on the Ringside Podcast. And we are going to share, for the first time ever, a full-length career retrospective on here. And who is the superstar? Rather, who is the legend that we are going to talk about? We are going to talk about none other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. But stay tuned because we're coming up live here on Spreaker Web Radio.
You are now tuned in to the world's greatest.
Tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight is the night, lights flashing when we step in the place, and you can feel the raw excitement from the look on their faces. The truth is you can find us wherever you are, just look up, we're flying high with the stars, cause tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight.
You are now tuned in to the world's greatest.
Tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight is the night, lights flashing when we step in the place, and you can feel the raw excitement from the look on their faces. The truth is you can find us wherever you are, just look up, we're flying high with the stars, cause tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night, ain't miss, can't miss, when we burn it to the ground, everybody get down. Tonight.
Welcome back to the Ringside Podcast. We're going to kick off tonight with some top news stories. All of these news stories, remember, are posted on WorldWrestlingNews.com. Well, some great news. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella are officially engaged as of Wednesday, September 25th. And of course, Total Divas. The return of Total Divas in a few weeks will have complete coverage of that. We can confirm that WWE is booking The Undertaker for Survivor Series this year. These plans could change. The word going around backstage at Impact in Arkansas is that Las Vegas, Nevada is under consideration as a possible permanent taping location beginning next year. The company has also reached out to Universal Studios about returning to Orlando, Florida. Based on what happened at this week's Impact Wrestling tapings, it appears Mangus will face Sting at next month's Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Also announced for the show includes Bully Ray versus AJ Styles for the TNA Championship, and Austin Aries versus Jeff Hardy versus Chris Sabin versus Manic in an Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship. WWE will be doing a Tribute to the Troops special again this year. NBC has already blocked off an hour for its airing on Saturday, December 28th, 2013, while the USA Network will show a 2-hour version. Last year, the company taped it at a military base in the United States, and we can expect that to be the case again this year. Jim Ross has a new blog entry available on his official website. In it, he gives his thoughts on this week's Monday Night Raw and discusses the Manning television special that aired on ESPN and more. Steve Austin is now releasing 2 separate podcasts, one for all audiences and another for mature audiences. The Clean comes out Tuesdays and the Mature on Thursdays. WWE has released James Bronson from his developmental contract. Bronson is a former MMA fighter whose father sued to be on the board of Mattel. Mark Henry told JMore.com that WWE performers are fined $70,000 if they reach into the crowd. Jim Ross told a reader on his website that he had no interest whatsoever at this time for working for TNA Wrestling, and JR noted that he is moving on to other things. Mick Foley is in the news this morning. He is visiting troops overseas on behalf of WWE, and the progression in the McMahon/Rhodes family storyline is expected to carry over to next week's TV's tapings, and you can watch footage of Cody Rhodes and Goldust following their appearance through the crowd at this week's Monday Night Raw on WorldWrestlingNews.com and WWE.com. Well, that covers it for this week's Ringside Podcast news and top stories. We're going to go ahead and move on to our results for Monday Night Raw. This was the September 23rd, 2013 taping, live from Chicago, Illinois. Well, we kick off with a tribute video to Angelo Salvaldi, and Vince McMahon is narrating this video. We get a look back at Daniel Bryan winning the WWE title at Night of Champions. We get a look back at last week's Raw, where the superstars came to help Daniel Bryan. Michael Cole welcomes us to Raw. 10 superstars from last week are on the stage and ready for a protest. Justin Gabriel, Zack Ryder, Rob Van Dam, Kofi Kingston, The Usos, R-Truth, Dolph Ziggler, Darren Young, and Titus O'Neil are out. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are introduced and make their way out. We see the Shield standing guard at ringside. Triple H and Stephanie thank the WWE superstars for stepping up. Triple H says he knows it had nothing to do with Daniel Bryan being in the ring. Rob Van Dam speaks up and says they were fighting for Bryan and what is right. Fans chant RVD. Stephanie and Triple H rub it and how the Shield has beat them all down since arriving to WWE. Triple H is going to give them all a shot tonight to make it right. There will be an elimination handicap match against the Shield tonight. Their partner will be Daniel Bryan. Stephanie says that's not all. They wanted to say thank you to the fans as well. Fans will have the chance to pick Randy Orton's opponent tonight. R-Truth, Dolph Ziggler, or Rob Van Dam. Fans chant for CM Punk. Stephanie plugs the WWE app, and they say thank you to everyone. Still to come, CM Punk will speak as we go to commercial. Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio is the opening contest of the night. WWE is back from the break, and Kofi Kingston waits in the ring as World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio makes his way out for a non-title match. Back and forth to start, but Del Rio takes control. Kofi ends up leaping over the top rope and taking Del Rio out on the floor. Kofi brings it back in the ring and keeps control for a 2 count. Del Rio with a big kick to the gut. Kofi sends Del Rio back to the floor with a drop kick. Well, Del Rio is in control as WWE took a break, and when they come back, Del Rio is in control and sends Kofi into the ring post during the commercial. Del Rio works on Kofi's arm, and more back and forth action with pin attempts. Kofi catches Del Rio with a drop kick in mid-air. Kofi nails the SOS for a close 2 count. More offense by Kofi, including the boom drop. Del Rio counters Trouble in Paradise with a German suplex for a 2. More offense by Del Rio. Kofi blocks the cross arm breaker, but Del Rio goes for a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Kofi counters with a DDT for a 2 count. Del Rio runs into a kick. Kofi springboards in, but Del Rio blocks him. Del Rio throws Kofi into the ring post. Del Rio wins with the cross arm breaker. Your winner, Alberto Del Rio. Well, WWE goes to another commercial. They're back, and The Miz is backstage with Renee Young, and we see footage from what happened last week with Randy Orton Triple H walks up and asks how the Miz is feeling. Triple H says fans want to see Miz TV, and his guest will be the Big Show. We get a look back at Triple H firing Cody Rhodes several weeks ago. We also see Goldust returning to face Orton. And then still to come in the main event, an 11 versus 3 handicap match. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family make their way to the ring as the fans clap with their music. Bray takes a seat at ringside as Eric Rowan and Luke Harper hit the ring. We go to commercial. We get back from commercial. It sets up Eric Rowan and Luke Harper versus Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. Harper and Young start things out. Harper runs over Young with a huge boot as Wyatt laughs from his rocking chair. Rowan comes in with his sheep masks on and works over Young. Harper comes back in and keeps the attack up on Young, stopping him from tagging. The Wyatts continue to dominate Young and keep him from tagging. Young finally fights out and tags in Titus. Titus runs over Harper and knocks Rowan off the apron. Titus unloads on Harper. Rowan comes back in, but Young clotheslines him to the floor. Harper nails Titus with a massive clothesline for the win. Your winners, the Wyatt family. After the match, Young comes back into the ring to check on Titus. Bray runs in and beats Young up. Bray hits Sister Abigail on Young. The Wyatt family poses over the primetime players to end it. Back from the break, and out comes The Miz for Miz TV. Miz says he's banged up and really pissed off after being humiliated in front of his family last week by Orton. Miz says this isn't over by a long shot. Miz says payback will come and it will be awesome. He brings out his guest for tonight, Big Show. We see footage of Big Show punching Dusty last week. Miz talks about his history with Show but asks how could he do something like that. Miz points out that Triple H and Stephanie would have put the shield on Dusty if he hadn't punched him. Miz says it's time for Big Show to step up. Miz knocks Stephanie McMahon, and here she comes. Stephanie says she's not going to let a lot of what Miz said slide. Miz tells Stephanie to take her legal threats and shove him up her ass. Then Stephanie runs down Miz and calls him a utility player, someone they need to do a radio or TV appearance early in the morning, someone they need to travel to another country, or someone they send to a local supermarket autograph signing. Stephanie says Miz failed his family, friends, and himself last week. Stephanie says Miz just couldn't measure up last week. She says he hasn't learned his lesson. Stephanie orders Big Show to knock Miz out. Show immediately knocks out the Miz. Stephanie stands over Miz before making her exit. And still to come, CM Punk's return to Chicago. We get our next match of the night. It is Randy Orton versus Rob Van Dam. We go to the ring and out comes Randy Orton. Fans voted for Orton's opponent on the WWE app, and Jerry Lawler reveals it to be Rob Van Dam with a 57% of the vote. Out comes Rob Van Dam to a big pop. Side note here, this was a legitimate polling. Back to our results. Ricardo Rodriguez is at ringside for this one. Orton strikes first and beats RVD down. Back and forth as Orton retreats to the floor to take a breather. They go at it, and RVD sends Orton back to the floor. Orton tries to come in, but RVD kicks him into the barrier. RVD goes for a move off the apron, and Orton knocks him to the floor. We go to commercial. Then back from the commercial break, Orton is in control in the ring now. RVD makes a comeback. Orton cuts him off and readies for the RKO. RVD blocks it and nails a heel kick. 2 count by RVD. More back and forth. RVD with a thrust kick from the second rope. RVD goes back for the 5-star frog splash, but Orton gets to his feet. RVD nails the splash instead. RVD goes back to the top rope. Orton knocks him out. Orton kicks RVD back to the floor. Orton works RVD on the floor and tosses him into the barrier. Orton tears apart the barrier and gets disqualified. We get a double countout as a result. After the bell rings, Orton drops RVD's back over the metal to the barrier. Orton throws RVD into the steel steps and runs away the referees. Orton with his right hands to the face now. Orton